Hello, church. We're just coming to you another evening, almost a week into the coronavirus and just the chaos in our world and in our church and in our community. And we're just coming in to check in one more evening together. And this evening, I just wanted to come to you from Michele Powell's porch and just say hello. So, Michele, will you say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
And this evening, I just wanted to, instead of me answering some questions and having a little bit of dialogue with you, I just wanted to ask her some questions. I know there are a few things that she wanted to share with you. So, Michele, the first question that I want to ask you this evening is, what's the one thing that God's been teaching you throughout this difficulty and this time, this chaotic time, just the last couple of weeks? What's the Lord been teaching you?
Well, I think basically there are two things. Number one, I need to check my email and my text messages because there's lots of information coming out. But the second and the more important thing is that as big as this is and as challenging as it is, God's bigger. And I have several friends who worry a lot, and lately they've been texting. And the one thing that I shared with them is that every time I get a worry, then I like to follow that with "but God."
Yeah.
So whatever I'm worried about, I can know that God's bigger and
Yeah.
God's taking care of it.
Well, that's one of the amazing things about reading the scriptures is sometimes it's just a couple of words that you can underline or highlight that God really shows himself. And a lot of times the word "but," is there's a difficulty, there's a circumstance, but God has a different plan. God has different hopes.
Amen.
And so even in the midst of these big things, we still get to see how big or bigger he is and how we can trust him.
Right.
Right? Secondly, I just wanted you to share what's your, maybe the most favorite thing or the thing you enjoy the most about being a part of our church family.
I guess my favorite thing is interacting with the people, which is a little more difficult right now.
Older people or younger people?
Um,
Or all people?
all people,
Yeah.
but mostly adult people.
Yeah. Man, we've got so many great people in our church. And it is hard with us not meeting in person. I'd say it's hard, but I think the better word is it's a challenge.
Right.
It's not something impossible. I think we as a church have to remember that we have to stay in contact together. We have to stay maybe texting each other or emailing each other, or praying for each other, just phone calls, just quick time together. It makes a big deal,
Right. Right.
Um, have you been able to just stay in contact with a few people over this last week?
I have with a few people, but I'd like to get in or stay in contact with even more. So I'm working on that and hoping that over the next day or two.
Cool. So Michele also facilitates and leads our one of our Sunday school classes. And I know Sunday school is a great opportunity just to interact and grow in relationships with people. And so I think that there's a little bit of information she wanted to share with you. How maybe can we continue to keep that Sunday school class going and driving forward and successful over the next couple of weeks, even though we're not really meeting in person? What are
Right.
some ideas?
So what I'll be doing is basically the same thing that JD is doing with the youth and that my district has done with those of us who work in our department, and that is to use online meetings. So I'll be sending out a Zoom meeting, and we will have our Sunday school lesson on that platform. I'll send a text out, and in case there are people who don't feel comfortable using that platform, then I will be sharing the scriptures from our Sunday school lesson as well as some of the key questions that we'll be discussing so that we can all be studying God's Word together, just like we always do on Sundays.
So in reality, there's up to, if I know right, there's up to 25 faces at least that can be on a screen together, or you can do more. But I think right now it's
Right.
just set to 25. So that's going to cover the whole class pretty
Right.
much. And so all your faces would be on a screen together where you'll all kind of be able to see each other, and you'll be kind of in the privacy of your own home or on your front porch. And you could go through the Bible Study for Life lesson, this week's lesson, and there's a way to interact and do that together digitally. And like she said, if you don't have that technology or you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's okay. But we still want you to keep along and keep caught up with the material.
Right.
We're just so excited about all of the different things that the Lord is teaching all of us, the way He's using all of us to interact together, the way that He's using all of you to bless so many people in our church and in our community. Is there anything that you wanted to say before we leave tonight?
I guess that pretty much says it all. But I do miss getting to see everyone, and I look forward to the time when we can all be back at church together.
Well, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. We don't have those details, but the Lord does. And so the Lord is bigger than all of these things.
That's right.
So we love Him, and we trust Him, and we encourage you and invite you tonight, as the 1900 hour approaches, to pray tonight and continue to be praying for our church, our community, our nation as a whole. We love you, and we will see you soon. God bless.